I want to talk about an update when it comes to Avalanche. And even though nothing I say is financial advice, according to Cointelegraph, recently Van Eck, they filed for an Avalanche ETF. Now, people may be thinking, okay, why does this even matter? Well, it's because we take a look at, for instance, what the Bitcoin ETF did, what the Ethereum ETF did. So when I take a look at something like this, I think it is pretty, cool for me to see because Avalanche, it's not necessarily a project that a lot of my friends know if they don't really know about this space, right? It's more so of like a thing I have to take a look at if I'm in this space. But then I like the recognition that this has been having for quite some time now. And also very recently, I think this gives it a little bit more validation. Now, just filing for this, right? I mean, we still have to wait and see what could really happen as a result of this. But at the same time, I am pretty, happy to see this because personally, I am a fan of Avalanche as a layer one blockchain. And in case someone may be wondering, okay, what is Van Eck? Now, Van Eck is supposedly a firm headquartered in New York City. And actually, as of December 31st, 2023, so it's quite a while now. I mean, we're almost in 2026. But besides that, as of December 31st, 2023, allegedly they had around 89.5 billion in terms of assets under management. And of course, I'm talking about dollars when it comes to that. So when I take a look at this, and I also take a look at how Van Eck is supposedly kind of focused on ETFs, right? Generally speaking, at least from what I can see, that right there, I think, seems to be pretty interesting because something that is so focused on ETFs, which allegedly Van Eck is, and then seeing them even focus on Avalanche, I find that pretty surprising because Avalanche, a lot of people like to say, oh, Algorand is more popular, right? They like to say, oh, VeChain maybe is going to be more popular than this. Now, personally, I'm still a fan of Algorand, VeChain, and as well as Avalanche, but I'm saying this is under some stiff competition, right? So if let's say something like Avalanche does have that sort of attention, I must say that I'm pretty elated to see something like this. However, even besides that, I'm totally aware that AVAX, which is Avalanche's native token, it's currently around 16 and a half times lower than $200. So clearly, it's not doing the best, right? But that could be said with a lot of other altcoins out there. It's not only just AVAX. And the thing is, when it comes to AVAX, at the hypothetical idea of $200, who knows what could happen, but I'm saying at the hypothetical idea of that, the market cap, if we were to consider the current circulating supply, it would be around 86 billion. In which case, like we've seen pretty much BNB exceed that by around 20 billion, even back in 2021 in terms of market cap. And that was years ago. Now, granted, during this cycle, BNB reached a new all-time high, AVAX did not, but I'm just saying, when it comes to BNB, it even did that years ago. During the peak of that cycle, at that time, there was like around 300 million owners within this space, but then as of right now, like there's around 600 million, and I don't think we've even seen an altcoin season, but yeah, it still even did that back then when it comes to the case of BNB. So when I take a look at something like this, is this so ridiculous? I mean, I hypothetically don't have that mindset, but yeah, besides that point, if I take a look at AVAX as of right now, the market cap is currently around 5 billion, right? But actually, if we take a look at where it was back in December of last year, it was around 21 billion. So it's like around, quite a ways away, right? I mean, we're currently around 4 times lower than that. But my mindset is this. I don't think Ethereum is around 4 times lower than where it was back in December of last year. I don't think Bitcoin was either. This is just my perspective. So if someone asked me, am I choosing AVAX, Bitcoin, or Ethereum? Now, I cannot make a decision for anyone, right? But hypothetically, I don't know why I would want to choose something that has an outlandish market cap and at the same time not being so far lower than where it was back in December of 2024. But yeah, besides that point, that is just kind of my mindset. But I'm not telling anyone to do anything. However, here's the thing. Even if we don't take a look at last year, like let's say we take a look at back in September, the market cap at that point was around 14 billion. Like, that's not even half a year ago, If I take a look at that, okay, around 3 months ago, like for instance, we're currently nearly 3 times lower than where we were back in, again, September, around 3 months ago. As of right now, right? Bitcoin is over 3 times lower than 300 grand. But it's actually never even reached 300 grand ever. So this is just kind of my mindset. I mean, this is just the way I take a look at AVAX, but of course, I'm just seeing how I feel about this, right? But actually, when I take a look at AVAX, there's around 159,000 holders. Now, personally, I'm just, let's say, an individual, right? I cannot do anything about this. Like, whether or not AVAX wants to do this or do that, it's going to do it with or without me. And also, this whole space overall, again, like I mentioned earlier on, there's over 600 million owners within this space. I'm just one individual. So the market's going to do its thing, whether I like it to or not, right? It's going to do anything it wants to do, basically, that is out of my control. But my kind of perception is this. I'm still waiting because if I'm in that realization that this market is going to do something with or without me, I'm just personally in this mindset that I want to stay patient in case something maybe, I guess, did hypothetically happen. It doesn't mean it could or it would. I'm not saying that, right? But I'm just staying patient anyways. If I wasn't in this space whatsoever, I'm still going to have to live my life in January of 2026, February, May, June, July. I'm going to still have to do all that, whether I'm in this space or not. But the difference is, if I'm in this space, at least I'm hypothetically waiting for something. Who knows what it could be, but I'm saying. But if I'm not, then I'm not waiting, I guess, for this space, right? I guess I'm not really waiting for anything in that instance. But personally, I just like to wait for something because, that's just kind of like my mindset. I just want to wait for something because, again, that's just how I feel. That's why I haven't exited. I could exit though. I mean, it's actually easier for me to exit because then I don't really have to care, right? I don't really have to care about this, but I'm saying I haven't done that and I don't want to do that personally because I just want to be waiting, I guess. That's just kind of my mindset. Now, this year, I mean, I haven't seen an altcoin season, and actually, I don't think I've seen an altcoin season during the cycle. Like back in December of 2024, I don't think that was an altcoin season, actually. I think it was just a change in sentiment when it comes to altcoins. But really, if we take a look at it, like December of 2024 is still a far cry from where Avalanche was back in 2021. Like the market cap was around 30 billion at one point, So I don't think that was really an altcoin season in my mind, at least. Will we see one in 2026? I have no way to answer that because I will not be able to know for sure. However, I'm still waiting because I don't think I've seen an altcoin season during the cycle. I think what I saw back in December 2024 was just kind of like a change in sentiment when it comes to altcoins, but I don't think it was necessarily like an altcoin season. So yeah, I'm just still waiting and I haven't given up, but in the meantime, I did want to talk about this update when it comes to Avalanche and supposedly what VanEck is trying to do with that in terms of the ETF. So yeah, who knows what could happen when it comes to this. However, I'll be sure to make an updated video if there's any more updates when it comes to this. I want to say thank you for watching.